Has this ever happened to you guys? You're like at a point in the cigar, you've been enjoying it, you've been having a good time with it, and then all of a sudden, I don't know, it just hit like this weird chemical impact, like just didn't sit too well. Well, how you doing, everybody? This is Duncan Ramon Echevarria, and I've been working all morning long on trying to get some videos up, work on my reels, posts, all the stuff that a young emerging talent such as myself has to do, right? Well, factor out young talent and a bunch of other stuff that ain't real. But no, I was just smoking this cigar, and I'm afraid to tell you guys what it is that I'm smoking now because I don't want any backlash. I don't want any, throwbacks on this. But you know what? Nobody pays me a check for reviews. Nobody sends me boxes of cigars to review or any of that nonsense. Um, so let me just dive into this one. It's called the Jaguar, and that's actually how you really pronounce it. It's not, Yagua. It's una Yagua, which is a palm leaf from the royal palm tree. Um, if you guys have ever been, to the islands, if you've been to, Miami or any of the more tropical, warmer climates and environments where palms are everywhere. So the palm tree is a really beautiful one. It's very tall, it's huge leaves. It's almost like a signature tree in Cuba, the Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, Jamaica, Haiti, everywhere, right? Um, and this Jawa cigar is done by J.C. Newman Cigar Company. Again, great cigar company. Maybe I just got the one, right? Every now and then, I think we all get that, one cigar out of the box or out of, 20, 30, 40 cigars that we smoke, and we're like, oh man, this is good, this is good. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh my God, what happened here? What's going on? Um, so I'm literally, I don't know if you guys can see this. There it is. It's a little bit better. I'm not quite the last third, but I'm almost at the last third. And again, I've been working all morning long and I've been smoking it, and it's been, good. It's a mild to medium cigar. It's got some good flavor profiles from my understanding. Um, if I remember, what I read about this, it's a it's a Nicaraguan puro or close to it. I think it's a Connecticut broadleaf wrapper, but I don't know if it's Connecticut broadleaf that's also grown in Nicaragua. So everything from this cigar, from my understanding. And again, I don't go deep into the cigars to review them. I go deep into the cigars to enjoy them, to smoke them, to have a good time with them, and to just really, you know, uh, like I said, have a good time and put them to work for me while I am doing some work. I'm sure you guys have like favorite cigars. I hope that did not come through. You have ever been doing something and then like these weird sounds in the computer just pop up and you're like, you know what? I'm not planning on editing much, if anything. So it stays there. I got a notice from my computer. But no, just back to it. It's not a bad cigar. It hasn't been a bad cigar, and I don't know if it was just a quick moment that I was, puffing and not think. I don't know, something about it just gave me this chemical sort of metallic taste. It made me just take like I was literally turning everything on and jumping on right now to do this, and it was in that process that I think my first face that if you guys backtrack a couple of minutes ago to the video when it started, you were like that's the face. The hell is this? Um, it's okay. It's okay. There's nothing wrong with getting the one bad cigar. There's nothing wrong with it. I tell everybody, look, power through it. If that moment persists, puff after puff, and if you're still getting that weirdness, then yeah, you may just want to say, the heck with this, just chuck it. Um, Drinking a little coffee. Yeah, don't laugh. Look, I collect mugs. My mug on the inside is pink, um, but it's a Frida Kahlo mug. I like her. I like her work. Um, and by the way, this is a good spot right now to interject and tell you about the coffee that I'm drinking. So, hey, my friends, are you as much of a coffee lover as I am? 'Cause let me tell you, you are. This one's for the road warriors, the patriots, the everyday heroes who keep this country moving. This is Road Dog Coffee. Let me tell you, we're not here for watered down swill. We're here to stage a full throttle rebellion against bland corporate blends that forgot what real coffee tastes like. At Road Dog, every roast is a rally cry, crafted with purpose, packed with bold flavor, and roasted for the long haul. Our beans are meticulously selected, fired with authenticity, and built to awaken your senses mile after mile. We're more than just a coffee company, we're a family, a movement, a tribute to hardworking Americans who still believe in tradition, grit, and great coffee. Join the rebellion, fuel your journey, and taste what it means to be Road Dog approved. Sign up now for exclusive offers, brewing tips, and bold blends that fuel the American dream. Road Dog Coffee, crafted for the long haul, built for the bold. All right, so we're back. Um, I think I was able to get some of the taste out of my mouth with the coffee. Um, Hold on, I'm gonna do some heavy puffing right now to see if it's still there. You're hearing that? You're hearing that pull, right? Okay, so who knows? Maybe it was just a moment. Who knows, right? Who knows? But it's here's the thing. I went to Castle de Monte Cristo a couple of days ago, and I bought a few of these. The general manager, she's an amazing, amazing woman, someone that I really trust. When she recommends a cigar to me, I was right in the area of Fuente Cigars and JC Newman. I love the fact that, of course, they're side by side because they are partner companies, together for decades, decades of great business together and great collaborations on all their cigars. And she said, "Hey, have you smoked the Jaguar?" I, first of all, she didn't quite pronounce it like that. She said more like the Jaguar. I looked at her and I thought, what? You know, and agua is water in Spanish. And I was saying, are you trying to tell me something about water? Have I smoked the water? And I started laughing with her because I love her dearly. And she says, no, no, it's how do you say it? I said, it's Jawa. And she's like, okay, have you smoked that? And I said, no, no, I haven't smoked it. I know it's been out for a minute, if I'm not mistaken, which is great. Nothing wrong with that. I rarely go running to buy a brand spanking new cigar that just hit the market, unless it's, I don't know, it happens. Who knows? But it's not like my go to thing. So, anyways, back to it. And she says, I love it. It's got some great flavor profiles. It's becoming almost like a go to for me every time it comes out. I smoke a lot of them. And I'm like, hey, great. I mean, to me, she's already, capturing me with everything she's saying. We had a good chuckle over the name. She's telling me she enjoys it. I looked at the price point. The price point was actually very reasonable. It's $10. I mean, considering how, some things out there right now are going to be like through the roof with this whole tariffs thing. And I'm not going to get started on that, I promise. But the long and short of it, I spoke to a couple of the other people that were there, that were working behind the register. Same thing, hey, it's a good cigar. When I smoked it, it's nice, it's great. I had another young lady that she says, I usually buy a bunch, I set them aside, and and I smoke through them. Now, I think these are limited runs where they come out once a year or so, which I can understand that. Nothing wrong with that. Sometimes, we buy like a bunch of stuff like that that's limited or hard to get, and we kind of stretch them out until they come out again. Um, and I said, okay, I'm sold. So I grabbed a bunch, I didn't grab a bunch. I grabbed like about four, anyways. And in my mind, I'm thinking, well, I'm gonna give this to the worst critic I know. This person just does not hold back. If she likes a cigar, she likes it. If she doesn't like it, she's gonna tell me it is garbage. So I got home. When I got to my mom's house, and my mom is an avid cigar person. She's about to be 83 years old this year, and she smokes more than I do. On an average day, true story, and those who know this can attest to this. My mother will smoke between 5 to 10 cigars in a day if you let her. That's why I think I need to, at my second half of my life right now, right? I need to hit it big. I need to become like a millionaire, podcaster, influencer, something or other, just to be able to supply my mom with cigars. But I showed up there and she immediately went to make some coffee, which is a must. And and I said, "Look, I got this cigar for you, Mom. I want you to try it." And she grabbed it. She's like, "Oh my God, it smells like a cigar should smell, like my childhood memories from cigars in Cuba." And I was like, "Wow, yeah, right there. I'm sold. I'm sold." I'm like, my mom just said this takes her back to like a childhood memory of what a cigar should smell like. I said, I'm in. I'm 100%. I'm in. That's it. I'm in. And so it's funny. She lights it up, and I'll be honest. When she lit up, there was this really beautiful aroma that just completely. And I'm gonna use this word suffused. Is that a real word? I don't know, but I'm gonna use it. Suffused the entire, all of a sudden living room where we were at in her house. I said, "Ma, okay, first one was, in olfactory memory before even lighting. That was great. The second one is just this wonderful aroma that's now permeating. Look, another big word, permeating the space." And I said, I mean, I got to. Now, as soon as I get home, I'm gonna, smoke them. So the other day, I smoked one, and it was good. It was good. Here's the thing. I rarely say, "Oh my God, this is it," on one cigar. "Oh my God, this is it." No, look, I can't, and I won't. Been there, done that. Seen too many people do that. And I look at them and I go, "You're an idiot." And I mean that in a good way, not like in a bad way, but I'm like, "You're an idiot." I go, grab another one, wait a day or two and smoke it again, and see where you're at." And that's what I did. So this morning, I grabbed another one. I've been working since, let me see, it's 10 a.m. right now. I've been up since 6, and I've been working for the past 3 hours. So I may have to like add a little bit more fire because you guys know I talk a lot, and sometimes I forget the cigar. But this one, see, like right now, it gave me again that weird, bitter, metallic, ammonia-esque flavor. And yeah, let me mhm. Now, as I said before, you can two choices. Power through it to see what it is, if it's just a section of the cigar, or if it's something, I don't know, something more to it. But and I'm gonna power through. While I am with you guys, I'm gonna be smoking it. I'm gonna continue with it. I'm not gonna give up on it. Um, but I also read that this particular cigar is is put in the Jagua rolls, or it's prepared still wet, so that there's still unfermented tobacco. There's still a process that normally goes through when you're making the regular cigars. Like this one is not a parejo. I mean, it's a parejo because of the shape. So it's a standard, regular cigar. I think I bought. I think their size is a Toro. So, but it's kind of like these kind of like really weird. It's not a press. It's just it's meant to give you the sensation that's like like something that was done like in the country. Just a very rough rolled cigar that was now put in a regular press. It was the idea. I think the aesthetic is to transport you to what a cigar may have looked like 50, 60, 100 years ago. Okay, so that aside, so I understand there's some things that could impact this cigar, and I'm okay with it. I'm always perfectly fine with enjoying cigars like that. I have no problem with whatsoever. But now this one go around right now, when I noticed that it had gone out, I noticed again that it had this really weird uh, bite to it. This chemically, and I hate to say ammonia, but I really do. But it had this, again, it was like cleaning fluid. I don't know, just like I, like somebody had just sprayed the tip with some weird cleaning fluid. I don't know. Mm, okay, see, relight. Um, I take my time with cigars. For those who know me, I do not smoke a cigar. If you'd give me a Toro size, I could still be smoking a cigar 5 hours later. I talk a lot. I put it down. I bring it back up. I put it down. Bring it back up. So that could be an impact. That could be impacting the experience. That could be impacting the flavor. I get that. Look, I understand that. But tell me what person on the face of this earth who is a cigar person hasn't done that, with a bunch of cigars, particularly for those who are in the industry. And I'm going to say it like that. I have literally walked in and seen five, six, seven cigars in an ashtray in an executive's office that he'll tell me, look, I started with that one and I jumped to another one and I jumped to another one, I jumped to another one, but I'm gonna go back to that one, and they do. Right now, currently in my ashtray, I have another one, and that one was a Monte Cristo white label. I think I was smoking it, no joke, a few days ago, and I'll probably go back to it. People say that's crazy. And I'm like, look, how you smoke is how you smoke. How I smoke is how I smoke, and I love everybody's ways of smoking. Honestly, I really do. I truly respect you more if you're not one of these like, you know, um, well, you start the cigar and and look, you start the cigar. Life happens. You put it down. You go back and look, the cigar is still there. Why are you not going to continue? I'm going to continue smoking it. But again, that's me. So I love people who just are real about that. You put the cigar down because the kids were like screaming in the other room. You went to be a dad, you went to be a mom, came back, and oh, shoot, it's been 3 hours. Is the cigar still good? Why not? What's wrong with it? Clean it up a little bit, ash it out a little bit, you know, a little bit more flame, get that going. Don't be puffing in that moment when you're giving it flame because you're gonna be inhaling, or not inhaling, you're gonna be drawing up a lot of other, stuff that you don't want to, some flavors and some, again, however you do it is how you do it. But I don't judge anybody's way of doing it because again, it just is what it is. So the long and short of it, back to the cigar, as far as like, uh, my mom loved it. She smoked hers and she loved it. Um, she could not find anything wrong with it. She could not. So I look, I get it. The first one I smoked the other day was a good cigar. I think it took me 3 hours to smoke it. 3 hours. I can power smoke. I can smoke a regular cigar in 30 minutes, 45 minutes, and I don't call that power smoking. That's just nonsense. But I mean, I can smoke a cigar in that standard, if you will, time frame that most people smoke their cigars. I just have a lot that begins to happen, and I go back to it later. So she had a good time. I smoked the first one. It was a good cigar. I'm not gonna say it was a great cigar. I just cannot. I won't. Um, Good cigar to me is the 80% of what I smoke. Good. I enjoyed them. They were good, good construction, good draw, good flavor. Um, good at visual aesthetic of the cigar. I don't care what the band looks like. I don't care how the packaging is. I don't care about the box. None of those things matter to me because I can't smoke those things. I can't, right? I can't smoke those things. I can smoke a cigar. So this one though, man, I'm gonna leave it in the good cigar. I'm gonna leave it in the good cigar range. I enjoy the price, $10 doesn't kill you. I don't know if the box of him is 20 count or whatever it is, but let's say you want to buy a box for $200 and you're like me, I may buy a box of cigars and that box of cigars will last me 3 months. True story. Again, you guys may not know me, don't know anything about my cigar smoking style, or I don't want to say habits. Habits is, but again, I will buy one box and I can stretch it out forever. For example, back in the days, I would treat myself. I'm thinking of doing it this year just to kind of like start the tradition again. I would go out and I would find when the Opus X Lost City were available, and specifically I would look for the Lanceros. I am addicted to the Lanceros, predominantly from almost any brand. If they are well crafted, they maintain the burn. And again, there's a lot of different criteria. Another time we'll talk about them when it comes to Lanceros, because I'm a fan of the traditional Cuban sizes. I don't like a lot of stuff outside of those standard Cuban sizes. Well, anyways, so I would buy a box of these Opus X Lost City Lanceros, and let's say I bought them in December for my birthday, for the end of the year, for a Christmas gift. I could pile all of that into just one purchase and say, "Oh my God, this is great! I got these." I think at the time the box only was bringing 10. I don't know if it's changed or not. By the way, if you guys hear in the background my dogs, I got my two dogs. I got a brindle pit bull and I have my black Labrador, and I love them both, but sometimes they're like the worst kids you could have on earth. They're always fighting with each other. So I apologize if you hear that. Like I said, this is real. This is real, right? I'm in my office right now, um, so I would stretch those cigars out for almost a year. I think I would smoke one cigar a month or so, or one cigar every 5 weeks or so. It was just, a nice thing. And that's me. I can't afford to go out and buy, a box of, $500 cigars or 700 or whatever the cost is, every week or so. If I could, I think I would, but I just have never also seen, I don't want to say the value in doing that. I don't want to say that, to everybody who can, God bless you. Enjoy. Life is good. But I think that even if I had that kind of cash flow as far, or that kind of financial flexibility, or disposable income on that level for that, I don't think I would. I really don't. I'm a consumer. I'm not a collector. I've walked into places where people will have 20, 30,000 cigars. No joke. And that's what they smoke from, their collection, their whatever. Um, Great. At one point, I had a little closet full of cigars. I mean, I had redone a small closet in my house specifically for that. There was it was properly sealed. They had a little, humidifier in there. So I built my own walk-in, if you will. And it ended up being that at one point I just said, you know what? I drop, I drop dead tomorrow. Boom. What's going to happen to my cigars? Shoot, what's going to happen to that? So I just started giving them away, gifting them, um, networking with them, smoking them. I mean, I used the bajingi jingis out of that quantity of cigars that I had. And I think at one point I probably had a few thousand, borderline maybe 10,000 cigars. So I did away with them. And now I smoke what I want. I literally, no joke, guys, I keep just a little Tupperware with what I'm going to be smoking for, a week or 2 weeks or whatever. And in there, you can find anything from Opus X to, you know, padrones to Davidoff to whatever. Nothing that's infused. I don't really, by choice, I don't smoke a lot of infused cigars, if at all. But I put them in there and I reach in and hey, you're it. I'm smoking you today. That's basically it. So again, how you guys do your thing is how you do it. How I do mine is how I do it. But yeah, let me see. I know this has just gone out because again I was talking too much. Yeah. Well, I haven't gotten the flavor. I didn't get it right now. I didn't get it when I relit earlier. And I see a lot of people doing this, and hold on, look, there's not a lot of ash, so that means I didn't, burn through a lot. There's not a lot of fuel in here either, so it's a good thing I got like 38 backups over there. And here's the other one. If you got a ton of accessories, if you got lighters, cutters, ashtrays, all kinds of stuff, I'm gonna tell you about my guy, my friend, Steve Mann. He's got a solution, and let me tell you, while I like this guy and get it going again, I'm gonna tell you all about him. Hello, my friends. Let me tell you about a great place where fine cigars meet elite craftsmanship. Now, this is StogieHub.com. Founded by entrepreneur and good friend of mine, Stephen Mann, Stogie Hub was built to bring unity to a fragmented market, connecting cigar lovers with premium accessories in one elegant space. It's secure, it's seamless, and it's designed for those who know the difference between a hobby and a lifestyle. But this is more than a marketplace, it's a community, a place to trade, learn, and share stories through the Burn and Learn podcast hosted by Stephen Mann. And also, it's a place where you can come 24/7 for tremendous customer support, trusted reviews. Definitely a promise also to evolve with the industry and stay on the cutting edge of the needs of the clients. Stogie Hub isn't just keeping up, they're setting up a brand new standard. Stogie Hub, remember, where every puff is perfection. Stay smoky, my friends. All right, I'm back. I hope you enjoyed that. Steve Mann, he's just a guy. He truly is. I absolutely love this person. Blessed that I ran across him. And, in life, people come into your life that are just really, really authentic, great, amazing, just on point people. Steve Mann is just that guy. He does Stogie Hub, and he also does a fantastic podcast out of Rebellion Cigar Lounge in the DC area. So thank you. I hope that that little ad was informational to you guys, but just really, 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 really on point. So I had this cigar back. It's lit. It's doing its thing, right? Mm, it's a great one. It's a great one. That it did that. It would not be a great one if it didn't do that. But my overall, I guess, enjoyment factor is it's still in the good range. It's still in the good. Mm. Listen, I'll tell you what, I have smoked so many cigars in my life. So many. I started when I was 12 years old with my old man. Bless his soul and may he rest in peace always. But yeah, from that point onwards, I have smoked a gambit, been able to and had the chance to travel to predominantly wherever there's been cigar um, manufacturing and also tobacco growth. I've been to the Dominican Republic, I've been to Honduras, I've been to Nicaragua. Um, I have family in Costa Rica, so there's a lot of stuff that goes on in Costa Rica as well. That is factories and even tobacco that is grown there as well. Um, Colombia as well. But all of that aside, I still consider myself an elitist when it comes to cigar smoking because I approach it like this. If you're giving me a cigar that's $2, $3, I'm gonna smoke it the exact same way I smoke a $20, $30 cigar. I'm gonna smoke it the same way I smoke a $100 cigar. If you are in the good range, you're good. You're a good cigar. I'm probably gonna smoke it again. 9 times out of 10, I will. If you're a great cigar, I am always gonna smoke it. Period. Um, if you are one of these cigars that I want to say it like this and not get anybody, in a tiffy. If you're a cigar that's like a limited run, hard to find, or all kinds of different things, right? That are just gonna impede me from making you a regular in my choices for smoking, I may not pursue you. I mean, you could be good, you could be great, you could be all these things, but I just may not pursue you. As far as the cigar, I probably am maybe a fan of the company and what they do and all that stuff. But if you're giving me a cigar that I can't smoke maybe once every 2 years, 3 years, or whenever the heck it comes out, I'm like, man, I'm not gonna do that. I had a discussion actually the other day, real quick. I, don't want to take up more time than I've already have. If you guys are here at this point, thank you. I was and again in Casa Montecristo, they had these little smoke, little tiny fumas or cigarillo size smokes for the Amazon basin. And I smoke the Amazon basin. It's a CAO product. I think it comes out once a year, or once every couple of years, or whenever it comes out. And I had this discussion with, at the time, the General Cigars rep, a good friend of mine. Her name is Carol Lee Martin. Amazing woman, truly, truly amazing woman. And I said, I just hate the fact that, at the time when they first came out, and I think the subsequent couple of years afterwards, I said, people die for these things. Oh my God, I want to, get me a box, get me this, get me that. And so all those things are great, but what I didn't like was the fact that I couldn't get them. When I wanted them, I couldn't get them. So I had to figure out how I can, maybe get something that's like them, flavor profile, construction, everything that I was enjoying in the Amazon basin, I wanted to find it elsewhere. And I did. As a matter of fact, actually, a great friend, I have lost touch with him, but I see him all the time on social media, and he's got a fantastic brand of cigars out there. Felix Mesa had the El Galan Maduro, and I picked up that line of his portfolio, brought it to one of my clients, and we were very successful with it. And eventually, when I smoked that Maduro, I think it was part of just a standard line. It was just nothing, like, oh my God, this is no, no. It was just regular standard line, part of the regular portfolio. You could always get it. At the time, it was $8. $8 for, I want to say, the Oro, and I think he had a 60, and that one was maybe 850, 875, so less than $9, right? This was some years ago. Nothing, a decade ago. This was maybe, I want to say, we're 2025. Yeah, well, it's almost there. It's 8 years ago. Let's say 8 years ago. You know, I was smoking Felix's line of cigars, and I reached out to a good friend of mine who was also a huge fan of Felix Mesa, and I said, by the way, his name is Kerry Horney, my dearest friend. I said, I got something for you. I want you to smoke it. Tell me what your thoughts are. Mm. Okay, see, it's still open. It's still, I was gonna say still open. I mean, it's still burning. Mm. And he smoked it. He goes, "Oh wow, that's great. I love the richness. I love the flavor. Good construct, everything." I said, "Okay, now have you smoked the basin?" And he goes, "Yeah." I said, "I think you should smoke them, you know, same day, but maybe different times. One in the morning, one in the afternoon." And we both came to the same conclusion. It's identical, absolutely identical. The flavor profile, and that's also one of the things that I want to talk to you guys real quick about. Sometimes what we're looking for is the exact consistency that we enjoy, that flavor, that sensation, that emotion, that feeling, that all-encompassing. Oh wow, I'm having a good time with this cigar, right? And he goes, it's the same. It's the same. And I said, okay. So we ended up actually even doing um, like a blind test. We invited, a couple of influencers. We invited a couple of shop owners. I mean, we had about six, seven people, and we all smoked some of Felix's stuff. We definitely included the basin in it, and the consensus was, if you don't know, you're thinking you're smoking the same cigar. You know, bottom line. Slight nuances, slight, but they were so slight that they were almost forgettable because one of the two things that I looked at the most was like, well, there's a price difference. I think at the time the Amazon basin was, I don't know, $3, $4 more, and again, once it was gone from, because it was gone, and then you had to wait again until it was back in the market. Whereas with Felix's cigars, it was always there. It was readily available. So I enjoyed that, and that's one of the things that I look for in cigars, and why I stay away from limited run stuff, because I think that they're more susceptible to changes in the consistency than you know regular portfolio brands. But anyways, it's funny. I love the fact that I can do this now and maybe have a cigar and do my work as well. Um, One of my go-to cigars, and it's the brand. One of my go-to brands, as a lot of people know, I'm a Fuente man. I like, the generational brands that are out there, which I really am a fan of, everything they do. But when I look at boutiques, I really only have one boutique that I go to. There's only one boutique brand that I kind of put it above all others. And I'm gonna tell you about it right now. I'm gonna take a second and just listen to it, and I'll come right back. My friends, did you know that since 1492, the Dominican Republic has been shaped by tobacco? But long before the Spaniards arrived, the Taino people were already using tobacco in ceremony, culture, and celebration. Today, in the heart of the Valle del Cibao, we carry that legacy forward also. Welcome to GTO Dominican Cigars, crafted by hand at Tabacalera GTO Dominicana using first generation Cuban seed tobacco grown in the richest soil in the Caribbean. Every cigar is aged to perfection, blended by the passion of one man, Dr. Oscar Rodriguez, a master of taste and tradition. From smooth, elegant smokes to full bodied powerhouses like the Painkiller, GTO is boutique, it's bold, and it's never rushed. Come discover the soul of the Dominican leaf. One cigar at a time. Remember, those who know smoke GTO. Thank you. Take care and keep it smoky. All right, so that was GTO, right? GTO Cigars. That's my guy, Oscar Rodriguez, Dr. Oscar Rodriguez. If you guys don't know about GTO Cigars, then are you even like real cigar smokers? Um, one of the things that I enjoy about Oscar's brand and what he does is he's all in. He's all in. In other words, he owns the farms, he owns the factories, he runs the logistics, he runs the distribution. I mean, he is all in. He controls every aspect of his boutique brand, and that is supremely admirable and powerful. Very, very powerful. So, you guys always, well, you guys are always gonna see me touching up cigars just for a little bit of extra heat because they're gonna go out on me. I don't do that one puff a minute thing. I don't understand a lot of the cigar etiquette because That's another conversation. That's another conversation. I'm not gonna get into that right now. I smoke cigars, right? I've lit cigars with spiffs. I've lit cigars with big lighters. I've lit cigars directly from my stovetop. You know, all of the above. I've cut cigars with every imaginable tool, bitten them, stabbed them, used my nail every which way. I smoke cigars. How you do it is how you do it. How you light it, how you cut it is it's whatever works for you. But that's going to be another conversation. And yeah, and like I said, Oscar just he's an all-in guy. So he's definitely my go-to boutique cigar manufacturer. And there's some great ones out there. Don't get me wrong. There are some amazing ones out there. But if you don't meet sort of that same criteria that you have, that kind of control, that kind of consistency, that kind of guarantee of the product, I just really don't pursue you, if at all. Um, all right, I've had some fun. Again, I'm still smoking this thing. I'm probably gonna be smoking it for about another hour or so, give or take. Um, no more of that weirdness. So you power through it and you get out on the other end of it, and it's fine. Really excited that we did this. I'm gonna be signing off. I appreciate you guys so much if you're still here with me. If you've powered through this conversation that I've just been having, and let's have some more. Let's do this again. Let's put some real smoking strategy up into the air. I'm gonna be doing a few more videos coming up in the foreseeable future, right? And a lot of them are going to be built around the Cigar Business Blueprint, which is the book I authored, and it's now on Amazon, and it's also as a downloadable PDF on Gumroad. So all the links, all that stuff that you tech heads know about and I don't are going to be right below. Definitely, if you're looking to start up your own business within, whether it's the cigar retail and you want to have a shop, a bar, or a lounge, and you want to have cigars and you want to get involved with that, pick up the book. It's going to be great. You're not going to go wrong with it. I'm going to do the final plug here myself. It's built around 20 years of pitfalls, mistakes, trip and falls, and getting back up again and redoing it again and fine tuning that process. So, if you've ever thought about getting into the retail side, it'll help you. If you thought about coming up with your own cigar brand, how to do it, what are the steps, who to reach out to, there's some great information in there. I look forward to doing this again with you guys. For right now, have a good one and stay smoking. Enjoy life.